I love this program, and it's like a family. It's not really like a program. So like your first question you asked was like expectations. So there's a few different kinds of expectations. Expectations as far as like winning and losing is one type of expectation, and the other one is to just kind of remain that family. So the expectations, I think the question that you kind of wanted to hear was the expectations as far as like winning, losing, and make the playoffs. We made the playoffs last year and lost pretty bad in the first round. And so the expectations for this year is to always kind of do better than what you did last year. That's really the goal. So it's like we have a lot of returning players. So when we train all year, the expectation is to like get another game. That's really the expectation, to have as much time together as possible. If you make it all the way to the championship, well then you have 3 more weeks than the teams who didn't make the playoffs, or 4 weeks. So it's more about just the time we spend together. The expectation is I want to spend as much time as possible. So like winning and losing, I mean, behind me is a wall of championships, and there's 7 of them. And there hasn't been one since 1981. But I every year I want to go into it thinking, why can't this be the 8th year? That's how we train year round. It just doesn't stop for that. Exact expectations, I don't know. It's too hard. It's too hard to say. You don't know. The league that we're in, the PSAL, kind of changes each year of how many teams are in each division, how many teams are in a championship. So depending on where you are is how your expectations are. So like we're in the highest league this year, and we haven't played a lot of these teams in some time. We played a few of them, but not our whole schedule. So the familiarity of each team, each program is I don't know. So the exact expectations is I just want to be with these guys as long as possible.
Is there any particular game that sticks out to you on the schedule?
The first one, we play Holy Cross in a non-league game. It's been 23 years since the 2 teams have played. So that one
Wow.
sticks out a lot. And then just honestly, every single game, I'm really looking forward to playing because we haven't played some of these teams in a while. But usually the first one, and then our first league opponent is Kennedy. We haven't played them in a while. And I know they're a well-coached, like tough type of team. So it's a good gauge for us. That's a really good gauge for how we're going to go.
What offensive scheme do you run?
What offensive scheme do we run?
Yes.
We run, our basic scheme is more like that modern, the modern stuff, the 1 back, the 11 personnel with like 1 wing or tight end type thing. A lot of quarterback and shotgun reading players, like option type football is how we...
A lot of high school teams run with the option.
Yeah, I mean, not like that old school option, like you're under center and you're like that triple option. It's modern day, like away from the ball option, but it's still option football. If they do this, we do that. If they do that, we do this. It's a lot like that.
Do you have to change your game plan offensively and defensively for each team that you play? Meaning, like, modify your scheme?
You have to modify your scheme. You have to modify your scheme, first off, based on the kids you have in the room. You can't just run the same thing. If we don't have, like, receivers who are very good catching the ball deep, then we don't implement that in there. So there's the first changing the scheme. And then you definitely have to game plan because teams do different things. Teams have different players. If a team has a really good corner, you scheme to what he doesn't do well. You have to scheme based on your opponent. You can't like alter and just create a whole new offense. You just have to, turn a little bit.
What defensive scheme do you run?
I'm the defensive coordinator, I'm the head coach, but I'm also the defensive coordinator. And the defense that we run is we typically play a lot of man and gap defense. So like the structure of it changes. So instead of just saying, we're a 4-4 defense or a 4-2-5 defense, it's just an amoeba. It alters based on who we're playing. It's my chance to like get creative and not show the other team this is exactly what they're doing. So it's harder for them to adjust. But our basic structure is a 40 front with 4 down linemen is our basic structure. What happens behind that is just Bayside style. I can't put an exact thing on it.
What is one way you motivate the players?
One way?
Or any way. It could be one
It's
way,
my favorite
multiple
part
ways.
It's my favorite part of being a coach is that camaraderie, that trying to bring we have 46 kids on the team this year, 46 kids to like one unit going to play another unit. Like that's my favorite thing. So, I mean, I think motivating is an everyday, all day individual thing with each kid. So how I do it is you just build good relationships, and you just kind of know how to motivate each kid. I mean, whether I use quotes or sayings or pictures or just different ways of motivation. Like one thing that came to mind that's kind of concrete on the surface, like in season, is we do helmet stickers. I'm an Ohio State fan, and I've been a Buckeye fan my whole life. But anyway, they give those Buckeye leaves for good plays. We do the same, and they play for the Bees. They play. That's one way to motivate their on-field performance.
Interesting.
Is the helmet stickers, and which we only give them after wins.
Oh.
So it's like
If you lose, you don't get any.
If you lose, you don't get it. Yeah.
How long have you been coaching for?
How long have I been coaching football or at Bayside?
Both.
I got into the coaching world. I always loved football, and I didn't really grow up playing the game. I started the first year I ever played football was freshman year in high school, like a lot of these Bayside kids. But anyway, and then when I actually went to Ohio State, and I saw a posting on the wall for like volunteer football coaches. So I was like, ooh. So I did that in Ohio at a school called Worthingway. I coached 8th grade wide receivers and DBs, and then I just fell in love with it. I loved college football. I loved college football. I loved coaching. So my goal was I then wanted to be a college coach, which I did for 1 year, and I didn't really love one aspect of it. And when I was recruiting and I met these high school coaches, by recruiting, I said I want to do that instead. So I went back to school in 2003 to become a phys ed teacher, a high school coach. During that summer is when I started to coach at Bayside. I met the former head coach, current athletic director, Joe Capuano. I met Joe while during that summer he asked me to come down and volunteer. So I've been at Bayside since 2003. But I've been coaching. I coached. So this is 2003. So that's 20. This will be the 20th season. I was a volunteer. Then I was Cap's assistant. Then I became the head coach. This is my 18th season coming on, being a head coach at Bayside.
Wow, it's a long time. 18
years.
I
mean,
almost 2 decades.
It goes by. Like I see these kids. They're not kids anymore. The team that I first coached, they're in their 30s.
Wow.
They're men with children, and like they come by, and the camaraderie, the family is like, even though I haven't seen them in a while, it's just like, so it's I've been here for a long time.
Is there any coach, college or professional or high school coach that you look up to? Like you model your ability after?
I don't remember where I saw this, or heard this, but it was like, there's always like one coach who coached you that you kind of coach like. And there's the running back coach. I played Division III football at Concordia. And I started out as like a third down running back. My favorite player was Dave Meggett growing up. I don't know if you know who Dave Meggett was. He was a giant. His number was 30. And he was like a receiving back, like that third down back who caught screens, pass blocked. I was once in a while like cut block. I was good at cut blocking. But anyway, and so when I went and played at Concordia, the running back coach was Tony Harper, and the way he coached is kind of how I see myself. Like if I just like reflect on like how I interact on the field was like him. But as far as becoming like a coach off the field, all that stuff, when I was like a younger coach, a newer coach, was Jim Tressel, the Ohio State head coach. He was just the way that he carried himself, talked, the way the team was. That's who I kind of read his books, listened to his quotes, watch a lot of his stuff. So Jim Tressel was a big person that I saw from the outside. But from the inside, I got a lot of just the way to talk to people, handle things from the coach Capuano before me. He's the athletic director now, and my running back coach at Concordia, Tony.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
What is your favorite position, like per se? Like you played, so what is your favorite position, a coach or position to play or throughout?
Okay, sorry. If I was to play now, I would be the free safety. That's my favorite position. So like defensively, the safety is always that extension of me on the field. Like I see myself through those eyes. So I would say free safety.
Any other sports you like other than football?
Yeah, golf.
Oh, that's cool.
When I started teaching, that I had the summer off, I started playing golf. Now that's like a passion of mine, for sure. I play golf. I'm playing golf after this.
Great. What do you think makes a good leader, good coach? What qualities?
Honest, trustworthy, hardworking, knowledgeable. Those 4 things. So I'm working on those 4 things all the time. Honest is the way that I'm talking to you to this camera is the same way I'm talking to my kids. I try to not be as transparent. I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Straightforward.
Straightforward. If they do good, I tell them. If they do bad, you tell them. But you have to know how to talk to each player because they respond differently. The trusting thing is, that's hard. I can't really say that. The hardworking. I'm all in. I'm always working, watching film, watching videos, how to get better. Just doing things, reading books, just to just get better, to learn more. Just keep getting all this information, and then the hard working aspect is a big part of it.
What's the most exciting game that you've ever coached?
There's a few that stick out. There was last year we played a triple overtime game versus FDR.
Wow.
And it was going to get cold. It was going to end in a tie. We scored a touchdown at the end, and it was so dark that we were down 2. We either have to get the 2-point for a tie or not get the 2-point, and we actually didn't get it, so we lost in triple overtime. But you couldn't see. So that one sticks out. There's another triple overtime game versus Truman, where we did win on a 2-point conversion. That sticks out. There was a game here against Grady. There's a few, but that one sticks out a lot.
Okay, guys, we are now interviewing Bayside High School receiver and corner, Paul Savva. Paul, how's everything going, man?
Everything's going good today.
Going good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Paul. First question. I usually ask everybody this, but what age did you start playing football?
14.
14 years old?
Yeah.
Before high school? Or freshman year?
Sophomore year.
Sophomore year?
Yeah.
So this is, I take it, your second year?
Third.
Third year?
Going into my third year.
Third year? So, Paul, you're a receiver and a corner. Out of both positions, which one do you prefer?
I think safety can be a lot funner, and it's easier to control the field from safety and make a greater impact. But I think corner can be easier because the responsibilities are a lot simpler, so I think they both have their benefits.
As a safety, what type of safety? Are you more like a box safety, drop back in coverage, catch picks? Which
I'm
one?
more of a drop back into coverage.
Drop back into coverage?
Cover zone, yeah.
What would you say, because you play a little bit of receiver too, what type of wide receiver would you say you are?
I would say I'm a receiver that uses my IQ a lot. I try to find holes in the defense and find cushions within zones. I see my route and I try to figure out what way I can make it the most effective and create the most space.
Are you looking forward to any particular game this year?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to New Dorp. I think that's going to be a really big statement game for us, and if we can win that game, it's going to say a lot about the rest of our season.
What about it do you think makes it such an integral game to the rest of your season?
I think that's probably our closest matchup and one of our toughest opponents. So I think if we beat them, it'll prove that we've reached a better level than once before.
If you had to guard one professional receiver, being the fact you're a corner and safety, who would you want to guard?
Who would I want to guard?
Yeah.
Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith on the Eagles.
Yeah, really fast.
Yeah.
I feel like he would give me
Slim Reaper, great hands.
Yeah.
Great, oh my God, great hands. I've been watching him since college, man. He's unbelievable.
Be scary.
Is there anyone that you've looked up to, like a football mentor? It could be someone you haven't met. It could be someone you know, family member, player.
In terms of football, not really. Like, except for like some of the older guys, like when I was on JV and they were on varsity.
What do you think, like, one question that I think is a good question is how do you, per se, handle pressure and stress, like adversity, like?
Well, I believe that the only right thing to do is live in the moment. Dwelling in the past is unchangeable and the future is unperceivable. So I believe staying in the present moment and understanding what's going on is more important than what will or has happened is really the primary focus, and that reduces the stress.
Do you have a specific, like, off-season plan, like working out, dieting?
Yeah, a lot of my off season has obviously been going to the gym daily, going to the field with my friends, a lot of running, and I've also been working on my explosiveness and stuff with plyometrics and things of the sort.
What would you say is what's your favorite part of being a Bayside high school football player? Like, what's the
Like
best part?
specifically Bayside?
It could be a football player. It doesn't have to be Bayside.
I think my favorite part about being a football player is improving. Like, when you don't play a sport or something like that, a lot of days can go past where it feels like nothing's changed about you. But with football, it feels like every day I can find improvement. Every day I can say I was better than myself yesterday, which motivates me a lot and keeps my wheels pushing.
What would you say your strength is as a receiver and as a corner safety? Like, what is the thing you do the best on both sides of the ball?
I think at wide receiver, my footwork's pretty good. Like, I'm able to make quick cuts and I'm able to drop down easily, change directions. And then at corner or safety, I think I have really good ball skills. Like, when the ball's
Ball hawk?
Yeah, like I can attack the ball well and I can get to it at its highest point. So.
Do you, like, is there any specific, like, tape? Do you watch a lot of tape, college football, high school tape, pro tape? Like, do you watch anybody specific, like, tape-wise?
Yeah, I watch a lot of Darrell Revis, watch a lot of his eye discipline and things of the sort. And then for receiver, I like to watch Odell Beckham.
Odell Beckham, man, he's
Yeah.
both two great options to watch.
Yeah, he has amazing footwork, amazing routes, just great leverage.
Great speed,
Yeah.
hands, everything. What would you say is, per se, like, you have a specific way to hype yourself up before the game, whether it's the team, the coach giving a speech or music, or to get yourself in the zone?
I mean, the way to get myself in the zone is I give it a meaning. I think everything I do has a meaning and a purpose, and for me to find the root of my purpose and for me to look at it face to face and say, this is why I'm doing this is why I have to win, this is why I have to do well, and just finding my purpose and fulfilling it and just trying to fulfill it motivates me the most.
What would you say is an area like this year you're looking forward to the most? Obviously, you mentioned the game that you're looking forward to the most, but are you looking forward to, like, just a regular season, training camp? Is there anything specific, like any specific period?
Like a time period
Yeah,
in the season?
yeah.
I think probably about the mid-season. I think that's when the team is going to grow the most, and I think that's when we're going to come the most together, and by then we'll probably have wins and losses, down weeks and up weeks, and I think it'll really show what team we really are and how we can really improve on it.
Team chemistry, the first game or two, you know, you might not be in sync, but during the mid-season you kind of you gel together.
Yeah,
everybody.
you deal with adversity, you deal with advantages and stuff, and you kind of come to like real life when it comes to the mid-season, which is why it's the best, in my opinion.
Would you say what's your favorite aspect of playing football? Is it being with your other teammates, the bus rides, watching film, just being on the field, making play? Like, is there anything in specific you enjoy more than anything else?
I think the thing I enjoy the most is like being kind of like a general on the field, or like a field general, like especially as a free safety. I love like being able to like make a read on a play and tell other people on my team like, oh, maybe you should take a step forward, maybe you should drop back a little further, and just like kind of managing the team and creating like a machine in a way where we all work together and we all work in unison.
Another thing I was going to say, do you plan on pursuing, because obviously it's still pretty early for you, you got another year, but do you plan on pursuing football in college, or?
I think pursuing football in college would definitely be something I want to do, but it would have to reach my academic standards, and I wouldn't just go play football because I want to play football. It would have to interlink with my education.
Yeah. And last question, I'm going to leave the interview on this. Overall, what do you think is what do you think is the leading factor of being a good football player? Like it's not necessarily where you play safety or receiver. Any trait that can apply to any player, any position.
I think discipline is day-by-day work. It doesn't matter if you're motivated or not. You're going to get up and you're going to do the work, and you're going to know that it's going to pay off. I think discipline creates powerful people, powerful football players, and great minds. So I believe discipline is that factor.
Well, anyway, Paul, we're going to wrap this up. It was great interviewing you.